guys, Danny here. We are doing a little experiment.
Yes, we are.
With Mr. Airbnb.
Nobody knows my real name. It's Brandon. Right.
And we were discussing the art of bootstrapping.
Yes.
Which is essentially making a business from nothing, am I right?
That's right. This table is not.
So today we're going to be doing a little experiment on trying to do exactly that.
Yep.
Undercover.
Undercover. So what do we mean is I can't use my social media, I can't use my results that I've had from the past, I can't use any of my connections. Essentially, I can't use anything other than what I'm wearing and my knowledge. And with the help of Danny, we're going to try to go out, build a network of people that could potentially help us get a deal. And
I have no idea what I'm doing.
So if you're not familiar with co-hosting, it's where we can help homeowners, landlords, people with properties make money on sites like Airbnb being our primary option. And we take a percentage. That's the goal, right? So anywhere from like 20 to 30%. But the nice part is we don't have to own the property. We don't have to rent the property. We just help them with the services of the property. Bootstrapping.
Bootstrapping. So here we go. Let's see how it goes.
So stay tuned. We actually don't have a game plan, by the way. So whatever kind of cuts and edits and how this shows up, we don't have any game plan. So we're just going to reach out to people, see if we can meet up in person, pitch them on the idea, and we're probably going to get some no's, but we're going to try and get a yes. So stay tuned.
We will get a yes.
I like the attitude. What we're do is we're actually going to go over to hotpads.com. On hotpads.com, I like it. If you're in the US market specifically, it doesn't have to just be that. You can actually search for homeowners specifically. So there's a filter that shows for rent by owner. So we're currently looking at properties in Fort Lauderdale. We're trying to use no money essentially.
Yeah.
Okay, so just type in Fort Lauderdale, like the full thing. So F-O-R-T, yeah, you know what it is.
Okay.
So this is an easy way that you can get leads without having to pay for them. So what we're gonna do is there's tons of properties, but not everywhere in this area allows short-term rentals. There's a lot of restrictions, so you wanna make sure, A, if it's in a condo building, you comply with their rules, so you wanna ask for the HOA rules. You can get those by calling the condo, or there's a couple other ways, but make it simple. You call the condominium, tell them you're moving in if you want, and then ask for the bylaws, the HOA rules. Go through the document. You can quickly search for that by typing in short-term rentals, and then it'll tell you if it's prohibited right away or not. So right here, wow, so 693 apartments for rent.
By
now,
the owner.
It's just pulling up apartments. You can also search your city by typing in like short-term rental condo buildings that are permissible, and sometimes you'll find like blogs, like I was just showing you.
Yeah.
That will show what buildings actually allow Airbnb. Now, there's a lot of leads. So
how do we go from here?
So from here, the thing is a lot of people you're gonna get a lot of no's. That's just a given. But the whole point is to try to meet with somebody in person. So if you meet with somebody in person, it's gonna be harder for them to shut you down. You wanna, well, I'm not saying to mislead them. What you wanna do is say, hey, I'm interested in potentially renting your place. So if you're gonna do arbitrage, you could pay the first month's rent, the deposit, or whatever they request, stage it. So you can actually use their property instead of having own your own property. She's learning as we go.
I'm like.
And the way we're trying to do it is called co-hosting, where we actually do a revenue share. So we do all the tasks that require to like operate it in Airbnb, not acting as a property management company, but we get paid based on our services to help. So if it made $5,000 in a month, we took 25%, we'd make $1,250, but we didn't have to front any cash for rent or buying the property.
Free money.
Free money.
What kind of properties are we looking for here? Is there anything specific that calls out to you when you're doing this?
So what we want to do is we want to know what areas to look in. So what I'm looking for is not just a sample size of data, but a whole population size. That means like a ton of data points in one certain area. So you're actually going to go over to a website called AirDNA. So just open a new tab. Okay. We'll stay on this. AirDNA.co. So this website actually pulls real-time data from Airbnbs that are operating currently. So we can actually see what type of numbers they're doing. So we're not having to guess. One cool feature about this is it'll take the average without having to pay for that part. You can plug in an address and we can see roughly how much it'll make.
Okay.
Which is really interesting.
So then we pitch the price to them.
Exactly.
Okay.
So you're gonna type in Fort Lauderdale. We're doing this in real time. This is not scripted, by the way.
Clearly.
So, Fort Lauderdale. Now, it'll give you a market grade. You can actually pay to unlock certain parts of the city, but what we're looking for is where are most of these Airbnbs operating. We can look and filter out everything from a studio to 5+ bedrooms, but you can see near the beach, that's where everybody is operating, right? So,
that's crazy.
I'm not saying that all these are legal Airbnbs. Now, we want to stay compliant. We want to make sure that the city's zoning allows the area we're going to operate the Airbnb, but also that if it's in a condo building that they allow short-term rentals.
Okay.
And that's not allowed in a lot of places. Now, here's a hack. You can actually rent out midterm stays. So anywhere in most places, if you're doing like a 30-day plus rental, a lot of places will say no short-term rentals, nothing under 30 days. But if you do a 1 to 3 month lease, or even have your property listed as a 30-day minimum on Airbnb, there's customers that are moving, also nurses that are traveling, insurance companies that need to fill their clients if their house burnt down or is getting renovations. They need to put people in those properties. So that's another play to also operate in places that don't allow short-term rentals. All right, so I'm currently on Hot Pads. I just found this property at 9231 Southwest 101st Street Ave, Miami. They want $1,500 a month rent. It's 500 square feet. It's a studio. It's got 1 bath. I'm saying you can use these different websites. So one of them is called Rabu. I just recently found that. And what it does is shows you comparable Airbnbs in that area and how much they're making. So what we'll do is we'll call this homeowner. I'm actually gonna get Danny to do it. And what we'll do is we'll say, hey, we're interested in renting your place. Are you available? What's your next availability? Are you available tonight? If she's available right now, we'll go there right now.
We'll get as far as we can.
You're just gonna, all you're gonna say?
I'm calling right now?
Yes, right.
Oh my God.
So we're gonna call her.
Hi, Virginia. I'm interested in renting your property.
We're not going to tell her about the potential numbers. Hey, I'm just interested in renting your property right now. Because we could pitch this over the phone. Are you interested in Airbnb? She's not going to trust us more than likely. We have nothing to send her to. So dress nice, show up, show her the potential numbers. And she may say, no, I'd rather just collect my monthly rent. This is where if you came in, you could actually leverage even a credit card at 0% interest, like we were talking about earlier, and you could use that and get 10 months or 12 months or 6 months for free. Rent this place on the credit card. Put it on Airbnb, make your money back, being the goal.
I didn't know you can rent on a credit card.
There's ways to do it. Okay, so you're gonna call her and just say, hey, I just noticed your place. Here, we'll put her on speaker, hold on. Her name's Virginia.
Okay.
Virginia.
Hi, Virginia. My name is Danny. I just noticed your property online, and I was wondering if you would be interested in meeting up to talk about renting it.
Are you looking for property to rent?
Yes.
Offering to sell your property. Okay. So you're in Canada?
In Canada?
Phone numbers.
Where I'm from Canada, but I live in Miami.
Oh, your phone number comes up from Canada.
Yeah, my phone's from Canada.
Oh, okay. And so, tell me a little bit about what you do and what you're looking for.
So I'm looking to rent a property. I just moved down here, and yeah, just wanted to check it out maybe.
Just sort of shopping.
Shopping.
Where do you work?
I am a stylist, actually. A fashion stylist. I am a stylist, yeah.
Okay. This is a very small district. And why are you moving? Is it because you just relocated?
Yeah, I'm just relocating. I wanted to be in Miami.
Right. Okay. And you have your staff. You have your work somewhere else.
No, I'm working here. I'm working.
Here. Okay.
Yeah. I'm a stylist, so I can really work from anywhere.
Friends in real estate.
I have friends in real estate. Kind of embarking on a few different things.
This is a very small efficiency. And the girl who just left today, I have an even in the apartment. She was a traveling nurse.
Okay.
So, it worked out really well for her because she would come back from her,
Yeah, I'm looking here. I mean, would you be open to me today?
Not today, sweetheart. It's thundering and raining.
I hear that. Okay, well, I will call you tomorrow then. Or you let me know when you're available.
Well, are you ready to see the appointment? I can set up an appointment with you.
Yes.
Okay, would you like to set up a meeting tomorrow?
You know what? I'm gonna look at my schedule better so that we can do this properly, and I will give you a ring back.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, dear. Bye-bye now.
You did good.
Okay.
Okay, you did good. So the thing is, I don't know what she said. It's thundering and raining, so she can't go outside or something. So it sounded like she had like a nurse. So that's why I said it's like almost like they're doing a midterm rental. So she may be like totally opposed to the idea, but this is somebody you warm up to in person, and you.
She seemed really skeptical.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like, who are you? What are you calling me?
That's fine. Typically, just to make this easier, homeowners might be willing to furnish it, but typically what we'll do is we'll filter out unfurnished places, so we're just looking for furnished.
We're only looking for furnished.
We want it as turnkey as possible. Sometimes the nice part about dealing with a house is that you don't have the condo HOA rules. So a condo might...
Oh, right.
A condo might change their rules.
Oh, it's a girl. You have to...
It's a female?
It's a female. Thank God.
All right. So remember, you can actually rent these, so you're not lying. If you're trying to bootstrap this as much as possible, then obviously you want to co-host. But a lot of the time the homeowners, if you're willing to give them like 30 days for free, show them it works, and then they'll be hooked. Here's an example. If you were to master lease this, meaning you're going to rent it, they want $4,500 a month. But so this is saying on average, the Airbnbs in that area are making about $9,500 a month. So could you imagine renting for $4,500? Let's assume cleaning fees, etc. But even if you made $8,000, you're still making, what is that, $3,500 a month on a property you don't own. So I actually just found this. I haven't shared this yet, but this is a new site that I did find. I have no plug with them. There's no affiliate, nothing. This is called Rabbu, RABBU.com. AirDNA is the most popular. I highly, highly recommend them. I'll possibly be on their podcast next month. I think they're the biggest software company in the space for data analytics. I could be wrong, I don't know, but check them out. We're going to the Mandarin because we need a quiet thinking space. Because we have been in very hot weather. I am very hot. Everybody here is very hot.
And bothered.
And bothered. We have pregnant bellies right now. Well,
I do not.
I'm just saying everybody's full of food.
Oh, yes. We just had burgers.
And we need to make some phone calls because we only have 2 phone calls in. We've technically only worked for about 20 minutes, so our efficiency is way off today. But we'll make these ones count, right? It's we call them in hockey garbage goals. So not all goals are pretty, meaning not all deals are pretty. Sometimes you got to work extra hard for them. So
yeah, we got kicked out of the mall. We had to walk to somewhere quiet, which we didn't find. Yep. So then we got distracted and we had burgers. And now
burgers.
We're going to the Mandarin.
And so I got a message from my student today, who's a friend of mine now, down in Puerto Rico. Started the Airbnb business 4 years ago, 3.5, whatever it is. Actually, it's less than 3 that I think about it now. It doesn't matter. It's crazy what these guys have accomplished. So they are up to 70 properties, and they're currently at $2,055,000. That was like a month ago in bookings, and that was with 49 properties.
Wow.
They're adding 22 more. I have the full interview, but he sent me this morning.
Hey, Brayden, hope you're doing well. I just finished a call with one of the Airbnb representative that they assigned to us. They were telling me that I'm in the top 5 in Puerto Rico, the top 5 best hosts in Puerto Rico, and top 10 in Central America and Caribbean. So I wanted to let you know because I got a call today with them, and I asked them, and they told me that, and I was super excited. And so I wanted to let you know.
So that's amazing. I did an interview with him about a month ago. His name is Alan. And
this is only a month ago?
No, he just sent this to me randomly today.
Yeah, but when did you start?
Oh no, he
him?
started 3 years ago.
Okay.
But I've had people. I've also interviewed somebody that has. Well, he said he has 42 in the pipeline in just 9 months.
Wow.
So these people are real, and the business is real. And Alan actually didn't get his first deal until his 21st person he reached out to. He got 20 no's before he got his yes on the 21st, and that was done through a realtor.
So don't judge us.
So he doesn't own any of these properties. And they're on pace to do, yeah, don't judge us. They're on pace to be 8-figure hosts yearly in bookings.
Does he still not own any properties?
No, he doesn't own the properties, but that's what they want to get into, is actually purchasing the properties and building equity, etc. So yeah, it's pretty amazing. And literally bootstrapped that. He told me like he didn't have any cash to like get started really. But just enough actually. I think he did a master lease, the first one, so he rented it. But yeah, he got that yes through a realtor because the realtor introduced him to the homeowner. I believe that was the story. We have it on interview, but real results in real time. And this isn't planned, by the way. This is not planned. Let's get ourselves in some air-conditioned room.
It's gonna be freezing.
It's quieter. All right, so it's been a long day. It's actually been a really short day of work.
A lot of logistics.
Yeah, a lot of logistics, just trying to get somewhere so we can be in a quiet area. But we're trying out a new platform to try to find homeowners that are looking for co-hosting services. So we're gonna give it a go. We've also just only made 2 phone calls so far. And I feel like if you start at like 9 or 10 in the morning and you make 50 to 100 phone calls and you try to meet with as many homeowners as possible in one day, then you should have a pretty good shot, especially if you're gonna offer them free services to start. You know, we don't have a website, nothing started. So we started this really late in the day. So that's why we're logistically, you know, finally in a place that we can concentrate. So
Well, so yeah, when you're planning to do this, make sure that you allocate time and space. Okay.
because the management companies always want to know, what are you doing? Because
Yeah,
they're there to
that was
protect the
intense
homeowner.
earlier.
And they don't want to really pass off the baton unless you know them and they're getting a cut of it somehow. But ideally, they're not going to be convinced on the idea. If you can talk to the homeowner, you got one less person to go through.
Okay.
So we'll try to call this person.
It's a girl?
I don't know. This isn't.
It's a nice place.
Yeah, it's not. Maybe it's fully furnished.
Partially furnished.
Partially furnished, but it's in a good area. So we'll take this.
How much is this rent?
It's $29.50.
$29.50. All right, so we're gonna figure out
$29.50.
how much that goes per night on your website now.
Yeah, so you can use rabbu.com, rabbu.com. I haven't really shared that anywhere else. So this is kind of like the first place. But AirDNA is like the most popular. So
Okay. AirDNA or Rabu?
Yeah.
R-A-B-B-U.
BBU. So this is AirDNA. It's not going to let me go. There we go. So this is AirDNA. It'll show you all the market insights on how much properties are earning, etc. You can unlock the areas. So if I'm in Fort Lauderdale, I can click purchase. If I do click purchase, okay, you're going to need an account. Basically, it'll charge you a subscription on a monthly basis based on the city or the neighborhood, but it actually gives you insight and unlocks the occupancy, the rates, the revenue. You can also look at top properties, and then that'll show you roughly how much they're making or how much they are making. So if you can emulate what those top properties are doing, it will obviously enhance your ability to make more money on Airbnb because you already know what's working. That's really high for.
Welcome to Miami.
what it's saying, and I'm not saying it's really high. It's just like it's actually showing you what the average is. So if you think about back in school, you learned about the bell curve. Like if you were in the lower average, you failed the test, but there's the one who got the 90. So now the average is 60. This is taking the average of hosts in that area and that size of property and what they're earning. Now you still have to take into consideration cleaning fees. So if they're able to charge $492 a night and have an average 66% occupancy, could you imagine if you were in the 75th percentile? That's why unlocking those areas can be super vital in you doing your market research. So anyways, what we'll do is we'll give her a call.
Okay.
We're gonna try and call. Right now we're on hotpads.com. We can mention we're staying at the Mandarin next door.
Okay.
It's always good to be truthful. So
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're going to say we're at the Mandarin next door because we're looking for a place. You're saying.
Yeah. So I can't say, like, normally what I would do is, hey, my name is Braden. If you search me up, I go by Mr. Airbnb. I've dealt with tons of properties, including owning my own, etc. We work with, everything from one property to hotels and resorts. And I'd like to meet you in person because I just researched your property and I could see you could probably likely make over 100 grand a year on it versus renting it out for 3,000 a month and pulling in, what is that in a year? 36,000?
Yeah.
Something like that. $36,000. So imagine being able to 3x whatever you're making. So here we go. We're gonna.
Let's see.
I don't know.
Might be the building.
Could be. I'd like to just get them in person. We can talk about it later.
Should we just go there?
I think we'd. Hi there. How are you? I just seen your listing on Hot Pads for 540 Breckle Key, Unit 1002. Hello?
Yeah?
Hi, can you hear me fine?
Yes, sorry, who's this?
My name is Braden. Can you
Yeah,
hear?
who is this?
My name is Braden. I'm just looking at your property on Hot Pads as I see it's listed for rent.
Oh, yeah, no, it's already rented, thank you.
Oh, is there? I see there's 6 other rental units in the building. Is this yours or are you a management company?
No, it's my own place.
Okay. And you already rented it out to like a tenant yearly or?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have other properties? I'm just curious in the area or?
No, sorry.
Okay. I was just curious, and to be honest with you, I'm just staying at the Mandarin next door, like near the property, and I was just curious if you were renting it out long term or what your plans were. I actually so we do Airbnb services. Not trying to pitch you or anything to get you to say yes, none of that. But I noticed we pulled comparables in your area, and I could see the comparables, you make roughly over $100,000 a year with the properties. So that's why I was curious if you had ever considered just doing Airbnb yourself or any of that.
So how does it work? Yeah, I was actually planning on doing Airbnb. How does that work? How would that work?
Yeah, for sure. So what I'm doing right now is I ran a quick little analysis on the property. And I can see other Airbnbs in the area, and I can see how much they're making. So when I pulled the analysis, I can see that you could charge almost $500 a night, and you could make almost $120,000 a year on Airbnb. So if you were able to do that, even make $100,000, you're obviously making 3 times more than your tenant would pay you. So when you list on Airbnb, they find the guests for you. So your place is really nice. It's in a really good area. And that's why I was like, oh, you're leaving money on the table essentially. So what I do is essentially I'll help homeowners and I'll offer services for free to start. I'll just help them set up the Airbnb, give them insight. We'll help run the property essentially through co-hosting. So the homeowner doesn't have to pay us anything. We want to prove to them we can make you more money. And if we can do that, then we sit down and we discuss a percentage. We usually charge anywhere from 20 to 30%, but we don't charge you anything at first. And if you don't want to work with us, then you don't have to. But we just want to help homeowners get onto the platform and then be open to the idea of just making more money. If you wanted to do it yourself, you totally could as well. But what we do is we just offer a free analysis. I call the homeowner like this, because you're literally even if you just said, no, I don't want to work with you, that's totally fine too. But you could essentially make 2-3 times more, if not more than that, yearly, and either pay down the place or use it for whatever you wanted to on Airbnb.
But how does it work? Because sometimes you will not rent it, right?
Yeah. So what we do.
So out of 30 days.
Go ahead. Sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't mean to cut you off. I think it's delayed.
No. I was just gonna say, over 30 days, you might not be lucky enough to rent it every day. So that's one question I have.
Yeah.
And then the other question I have is, what happens if something gets damaged? Because that's also a cost to me.
100%. So it actually wouldn't cost you. Airbnb, obviously they're a $1 billion brand. They have something called AirCover. AirCover is a $1 million peace of mind liability policy. And if anything goes and gets damaged, we have the cleaners take pictures before and after they leave for every cleaning. So if the customer were to say, hey, I tripped and fell, or this wasn't clean, or whatever it is, Airbnb covers you for property damage and liability insurance. So that's why they usually charge a host 14.2% or 15%, depending on the area or situation. But you're covered up to $1 million with them. Now the next thing is, yeah, you can't assume that you're gonna be booked every single night, but with the amount of events that go on here, Airbnb is the main platform that I would recommend using, but I would recommend also like going on VRBO, Expedia, Booking.com. So you can actually connect all these in. We actually help homeowners do that. So again, you don't have to pay us anything to help do all this, but we would give you help set it up, do everything to show you that it actually would make you more money, and that be the goal. And if it doesn't, then no problem. We just walk away. But essentially, yeah, if you could at least rent this property out for, let's say, the average Airbnb host rents 20 of 30 nights a month. So we'll say that rents for $500 a night. That would be $10,000 a month versus, $29.50, which is, 3 times less. So yeah, we don't assume we're going to be 100% booked, but I can see how much exact places like yours are making, because we have a software that we can see it. And it shows there's a 66% occupancy rate. So 20 of 30 nights would be 66%. And these other properties are, pretty much the exact same. And the furniture you already have in there is really nice. Location is key. I think that you're definitely you can make a lot of money with it. And that's why I wanted to call you. Instead of trying to, pretend I'm not trying to do Airbnb or anything like that. I'd rather how much money you could make, and then we could sit down. If you're open to it, we're not going to charge you anything, but that's why I asked you if it's rented.
You're not going to charge me anything until I get it rented out, and then you charge how much percentage?
Yeah, so what we do is we'll help you set it up, stage it, list it, we'll find the cleaners, we'll do everything. We won't charge you anything to set it up or market it. We'll deal with the guest communication. We'll deal with the cleaners coming in and out. We'll deal with all the pricing. We'll list it on the top sites, like I said. And then we'll do it for 30 days. So if in 30 days we don't make what we said we should, essentially, you don't have to work with us at all. We don't take anything in the first 30 days. So we want to prove to the homeowner that you can make more money with this. And if that does work, how we normally charge is based on commission. So we don't charge you a monthly fee. We make money when you make money. So essentially we charge anywhere from 20 to 30%, depending on the length of contract. So it'd be 20% for a 6-month agreement. It would be 25% 30% on a 6-month agreement, 25% on a 1-year, and 20% on a 2-year. Now, we're open to working with homeowners and discussing different terms. If you're like, hey, we need to make this minimum amount, and anything over that, because I know you got bills to pay, we're open to discussing that as well. But we're in it to prove to you that it does work, and if it doesn't work the way we say it, or you just simply want to take it over, no harm, no foul, we walk away. You don't have to pay us anything for that.
Yeah, okay. No, I like what I'm hearing, because I was actually thinking of that. Unfortunately, you and I didn't connect earlier.
Yeah.
But I had 1 or 2 weeks that the apartment wasn't rented, and I really was struggling to see what I should do. But why don't we do something?
Let's do it.
I'd like to save your contact information, so I'll give you my email address, and then if you can shoot me an email, and then once it gets freed up, I can contact you directly and we can talk more about that. Otherwise, I was thinking about, I have in my mind to buy another property.
Okay.
And I was actually thinking of Airbnb. I wasn't thinking about Miami. I don't know why I didn't think of that before.
Yeah.
I was thinking more like Sarasota or Cape Coral, right?
Yeah.
But you're right, you can do also Airbnb here. So thank you for your call. Let me give you my email address.
I would love that. Yeah, what is it?
It's my friend.
So I was going to ask you as well, if you are interested in looking into buying more properties, there's certain areas I can recommend too, even Destin, Florida is really nice, but of course, if you go down to Fort Lauderdale, Hollywood, there seems to be less restrictions. That property at 540 Brickell is super, super good location. I think it could absolutely crush. But I appreciate you taking the time.
That's the thing. Now that you mention it, the apartment building will not allow Airbnb.
Yeah, so,
In order for me to put a
oh, go ahead.
for 1 year, I have to go through the full process.
So you're saying there's a minimum 30-day rental on the property?
No, I don't know what's the minimum. I think it's 1 year.
Oh.
Like, I don't think they would allow Airbnb. Now that I'm thinking about it.
So there's a couple ways, other ways. So if there's a 30-day minimum, what we can do is we can work with insurance companies, or we can put a 30-day minimum on Airbnb, because people that are looking to move or are in between places don't want to pay a security deposit. So they'll rent for 30 days at a time. So to figure that out, like, we could even help you with this. We could pull and get the HOA bylaws and check to see if it's prohibited. If it's not, what I can also do is I can reverse search the building. I can find out if there's Airbnbs already operating in there. So we don't just have to work on short term, we can work on midterm leases. And then the other thing too is if you are, did you just sign a tenant for 1 year in the property?
Yeah. I'm sorry, I thought you were going to, yeah. That's the thing. But it doesn't matter because everything happens, right? Like I had that place for a while, and sometimes people end up breaking the contract. That's actually what happened to me this year. I already had it rented out, and the lady had to move to another place, so she ended up breaking the contract.
Yeah.
And and these people are just coming to Miami, so who knows what happened. So, but as I said to you, like even before you were calling, I was thinking about the Airbnb.
Sure.
So there must be a reason why you call out of nowhere. So
Yeah.
I like to connect with you. So yeah.
No, it's amazing.
Send me an email, and then I like to keep in touch with you, and then.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Bye. I'd say that's a win. Let's go. That was good, eh? A third property.
Yeah.
So
We push through the awkwardness, like you're like
because I've talked about this for so long.
Yeah, but you're like, okay, you're renting it out, but and then wow, like I would have given up, I probably would have been okay, well, thank you, but you still kept going, and like if there's something that you can take from this, it's like keep trying, because maybe this property won't work.
She had no idea who I was. I did not use my name.
Yeah.
I used nothing. Like I could have said this is she didn't even know how many properties I ran before.
Yeah.
But what she really liked is like, I'm not going to charge you anything. This is a new strategy.
Nothing to lose. She had nothing to lose.
Yeah. And
everything to gain.
We'll run this for a month.
Yeah.
You can make 3 times more if we don't hit our quota and what we assume. Even if we make a little bit less than that, but she's made more than whatever her tenant's paying her, and we build that relationship, you just landed a deal with, this is a cell phone. That's all we had. That's it.
Our internet, our internet didn't start working.
Yeah.
But
so that's actually really good. This was our 3rd phone call. The second one, the lady couldn't speak to me, so she spoke to her. And the first one, she really just wanted
to know my fingerprint and blood type.
But you know what I loved about this? We just saved a whole trip of having to go to meet a homeowner.
Yeah. She was totally open because you were candid. Mm-hmm. You were, just really vulnerable, honestly, and just to the point, and if you give somebody nothing to lose, right? Like if the trial period, essentially, and you walk away, we walk away too. Not like we have to pay you if we fucked up.
Yeah. It's our time. It's our time. Like,
and which we would have lost a lot of time if it doesn't, which it will work out. But
that was really good.
I'm really happy.
That was fun. She was actually, the nice part, she was already thinking of this, right?
Yeah.
And her building, and was the objection. What happened if something happens to my property? Well, Airbnb has $1 million peace of mind liability guarantee with property damage and personal. That's called air cover. I believe they cover personal. You have to check that out. And then what else did she say? She said
what happened and what happens if something gets damaged, and also what happens if it's not rented out every single day of.
And I said, of course, don't expect it to be, but that's why we market on multiple platforms. So we're not just relying on one piece of visibility. It's like being just on Instagram, but not on YouTube, and not on Facebook, and not on Snapchat. And it's like, get yourself out there. So, and then I go, no, the average host rents out, let's say 20 of 30 nights a month. And the data literally agreed that it's 66% full, which is 20 or 30 roughly. So that was just like textbook pretty much. But there is no script, as you could see. What it was.
We almost gave up.
This is our 3rd phone call. I think we've literally only spent, 20, 30 minutes?
An hour, essentially, total.
An hour. But I would consider that
I'm impressed.
I would consider that pretty much almost a deal.
You are Mr. Airbnb.
You know what's funny? I haven't done. This is the first time I think it's been years since I've done anything live like that, and I think anybody can do this, and it's just about having like proper business acumen, knowing what you're talking about,
really knowing what you're talking about.
Just like be confident.
I'm gonna go do more research after this, so I can confirm it.
But it's cool that we caught that. We didn't actually have to meet with a homeowner, and that was just property 3. We didn't use any special software to find this deal. I was on HotPads. On HotPads, we just went to filters. We went to properties or for rent by owner, and then we went to furnished properties. So right here, and when we pulled that up, I don't know where we're looking, Fort Lauderdale there. I don't know if the internet's working on this or not. But either way, it allowed us to get to the decision maker.
I'm impressed, really.
Let's do it. Hey guys, so at the beginning of the day, I put on my Instagram asking people if they wanted to. My Instagram is Mr. Airbnb. She might have figured that out by now. But if they had any questions related pertaining to Airbnb and how I could help answer that. So I'm gonna read through some of the questions, and like most of today, it's just been very off the cuff. So these are not scripted. I'm just gonna answer them off the top of my head. So one person says, are we fucked in San Diego? Too late to get in the game? Do I need a down payment? So one thing to think about is like the rules around short-term rentals seem to be ever changing. So always make sure you Google short-term rental regulations, laws, city ordinances in my city. So just type in your city and look up the laws. Figure out where it's allowed, what you need, if there's permits required or whatever it is. Always comply to the rules. It just makes life easier. So this person thinks you have to buy property. They asked, do I need a down payment? You do not need a down payment. If you're at this part of the video, you just seen us pretty much convince a homeowner over the phone to be interested in doing Airbnb. We didn't have to buy that property, rent that property. We just simply were gonna come in and help co-host those services. And I was trying to help set up Danny, who's never done this before with that. So you could either do rental arbitrage, where you rent the property, or you could do co-hosting, where you take a cut of the revenue for helping them perform services to operate the short-term rental. So it's never too late. I think we're in an amazing time to get started. How much capital do I need to get started? So capital-wise, we just proved that with less than $100, literally using my cell phone, we almost pretty much secured a deal. She had already just rented out her property. We had to go through the regulations with the city, we'd have to look at like the building bylaws, HOA, to see if it allows it, of course. But if you're renting, I would say anywhere from $8,000 to $15,000, because you got a first month's rent security typically, and then furnishing if needed, and staging. But also remember, you could leverage 0% credit cards to actually go and do this, where you don't pay any interest on the credit card, you make your minimum monthly payment, and during that time, you could actually use that credit, let's say it's a 12-month offer, to go and get that first Airbnb, rent it, and then go ahead and the goal is to pay that down using none of your own money. So that's also another way to do it. Hey man, I want to do Airbnb, but I'm not sure where to start. I just showed you today, you could call homeowners, offer a free trial, start looking at YouTube videos. You could look at Google, type in how to co-host or how to run a short-term rental. Start flooding your head with knowledge in the space. I have a program as well. If you're interested, you can DM me on Instagram. I may see it. Just DM me BNB if you're interested in just getting like a blueprint to go through that. However, there's tons of free knowledge out there too, so you could get started for super cheap. Do you have to have good credit or credit at all to do your Airbnb program? No. You do not need to have good credit, and you don't really need credit. There's creative ways to get funding for real estate. You could work with a friend or somebody that would be willing to help you with the credit. But essentially, if you had cash, you could go rent a place. But of course, they're likely going to do a credit check on you. So if you have to put a person in place for that, that's where you could give somebody a percentage of the revenue that comes in. So you got to creatively think of funding ways. All right, so I'll go through a few more here. What are the top cities around the world I would recommend to do Airbnb? Now, this is always a question. It seems like it's a popular question. I can't give you financial advice, and this is not financial advice, but my recommendations in areas that I've looked into is Palm Springs, in the United States. A lot of snowbirds go down there. It looks like 4-bedroom houses are pretty popular. Another really good one would be, and I wouldn't say it's saturated, but if you had a nice spot in Tulum, Mexico, if you're looking to invest down there, maybe even buy a property, that's also a possibility. All down the coast there, Akumal, Playa del Carmen, Cancun. So Palm Springs, Tulum, Hawaii is one of the top performing places. Very difficult with licensing, so I can't really give you that one as a top place because it is tougher to get into and it's very expensive. Canada-wise, let's do Canada because I'm from Canada. I'm originally, or I would say, there's a city called Calgary, and because it's so cheap, it's so hot out here too, because it's so cheap in comparison to buying in like Toronto or Vancouver, in my opinion, your ROI, you want to obviously buy as cheap as possible and have the highest ROI. Calgary would be a really good spot. That's just based on preference and a little bit of bias because I am Canadian. But then you also got to look at places that are on the other side of the world, like in Spain or London, because you earn great British pounds there. My places I'm personally like, or not even personally, I look at a lot, again, is Palm Springs, San Diego, that guy just asked the question, that's a really good spot. Hawaii, Calgary, Tulum, Mexico, Playa del Carmen, those are all really good. But that's because we're on this side of the world. You still have all the other sides of the world like Australia, etc. So somebody said long-term buys for Airbnb. So I know I talk about using other people's properties, but obviously building equity and the goal is to even build equity quicker using Airbnb. The whole point why people do Airbnb is to make more money. So that being the goal, I would say like I really love Mexico and I like how much the properties cost there. I was actually just talking to Chris, he's filming me right now. I would say like Tulum, Mexico, like Tulum and Playa del Carmen, like you can get like condos right now at this current time in 2022 in August, we're almost in September. You can get them for like $150,000 plus. It's really affordable for a lot of people, but again, mortgages are different. I believe you have to get a Mexican trust. You have to consult a lawyer for that. So I would say Tulum is one of my favorite hot spots. If I were to invest, actually the Calgary market as well, as I mentioned, and then possibly over, this is a tough one, if I had only 3 places. I'm thinking Europe, places in Europe, because you can earn euros. So if you live in Canada, for example, then euros are worth a lot more. So it's probably going to be somewhere over in Europe. It could be maybe in London, just because of the Great British Pounds, and it's such a high tourist spot. So I'm going to give you those 3 spots. That's where I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you guys for listening, and I hope you can take some of this advice and actually use it for your own success.